Well, but Bryan Danielson on commentary may save him. What do you think? Will this be the turnaround? Bless him. He's been named as the new announce team member, replacing Tony Schiavone, which I don't have any argument with that, considering Tony's contributions to play-by-play over the last several years. But once he was introduced as set down, I'm so used to not listening to the announcing because either Sockface is screaming at me or I'm so busy trying to write down who all these people are that are running into the ring and doing shit that I don't listen to the announcing. Did you catch any pearls of wisdom?
I thought he was okay. Not great, but not terrible, and certainly something that could be improved. I think the issue is more who he's teamed with. I think if you put him out there with, prime Jim Ross, it probably would have been one of those things where everyone was talking about his commentary the next day. You have to team him with the right people, and unfortunately, as long as Excalibur's the lead commentator on this show, the show's lacking.
Yeah.
Not to mention Taz just giggling at everything as it happens or whatever.
Well, but even Taz and Danielson, you've got two color guys, so there's no
Vince to tie them together.
There's two co-pilots, there's no pilot. Yeah, and the thing, everybody says, Sockface will really get it's 6 years now. He still sounds like he's screaming on VHS from the basement where they do their mail order tapes.
Even if you're a fan of his, I think the honest appraisal is that he's not a good voice for big moments. Whether it's what he says or how he stumbles over what he says, or the inflection, whatever it is, he's not the right guy for that role.
He's still pretending to be the announcer that, like when they pretended to be the announcers in their PWG or whatever it was 25 years ago. He's imitating the announcers that he saw then and trying to get all the words right, and then plus trying to throw in all the Japanese names for everything. But nevertheless, Bryan Danielson, good luck in that environment.
Hey, did you see this? One of the listeners posted this in the Cult of Cornette, I think. Bryan Danielson had a quote about the AEW pay scale. Did you see this?
I did not.
He was doing an interview. Where was he doing it? With John Bernard, whoever that may be. AEW existing and being this challenger brand and being as successful as we've been has changed the landscape for wrestling for the wrestlers themselves. Wrestlers are being paid more now than ever from a sports rights perspective. So, for example, in most major sports in the United States, the players get anywhere between 40 to 50% of the revenue. WWE was paying their wrestlers nowhere close to that. Now keep in mind, they're still not paying anywhere close to that. But they do have to pay more, because if they don't, the talent is going to leave and go to AEW. AEW does pay that 40 to 50% of the revenue to the wrestlers.
Whoa!
Despite making much less money.
Oh, boy, howdy. So, I think he just told us that Tony Khan lost a lot more money than we thought he did for the first few years. Jesus H. Christ.
50% of the revenue, up to 50% of the revenue is paid to the wrestlers. I mean, for the wrestlers, that's incredible. Especially if you had the roster to really get your bang for your buck out of it. But that's incredible. Has anyone in wrestling ever paid that percentage of, if that is indeed true? And again, he's become somewhat of a mouthpiece publicly for AEW. Because,
well, yeah, and the thing is, these are the same things that Uncle Dave has written. So we wonder, did one tell the other which was the chicken, which was the egg? But it's the same story. But no, in the days of Strangler Lewis, when getting those two specific wrestlers was the chore, and it was like an old-time world championship boxing match where, yeah, then those two guys might get 50 or 60% of the house or whatever, but it hasn't happened from a company per se over an entire talent roster in wrestling because again, now with the TV rights being paid by networks, et cetera, things are different, but no territory, even no matter how successful in the territory days, could have paid 50% of the revenue to talent and still stayed in business because that doesn't take into account the building rents, the advertising, the transportation, the commission costs. And most importantly, if you're shooting your own television and most of the promoters paid for the production in those days. So that would have meant that you were spending 125% of your fucking revenue, which would not obviously have lasted very long. But now with these, again, with the WWE, 50% of their revenue would still be hundreds of millions of dollars, and it would be ridiculous to pay the fucking guys that much money, but they could still make money even if they did it.
And it's only ridiculous because it hasn't been done because technically it's the guys generating that money. What's the current royalty rate for t-shirts?
At some point, if they make $1 billion a year and they paid out $500 million to the talent, you'd have a hard time making a case to me that many of the talent were worth 30 or 40 million bucks a piece per year, even in that environment. There's a lot of guys on the card. There's only a few that would be in that stratosphere. Anyway, back to the fucking surface of the ground, because boy, that's where this program was, and it's headed even further south. Did you notice that the crowd pans could show literally each individual person's face in the building?
I did not notice that, no.
When they did the crowd pans while the announcers were billboarding the show, they showed every son of a bitch individually that was in that building.